Hey everyone, it's Mike and I'm back with another guitar video. And this is the HB35 that finally showed up after the first two arrived damaged, that arrived undamaged. And this is a gift for a family member for Christmas, so I have been working on it. And it's a beautiful guitar, nothing wrong with this HB35. There's no dings to the headstock or cracks to the bottom of the neck. And what I did was I put on this pick guard, and this is an ES335 pick guard. The pick guards that come with the HB35s, for some reason, they're not cut right. They look like they were cut by hand, and I just don't know why Thomann does that, because the rest of the guitar is really very beautiful. I will say again that the pickups on these Harley Bentons are extraordinary for the money. This guitar here with shipping out of Germany, $180. So excellent, excellent guitar. Now, what I want to show you here is, and this is the second Harley Benton guitar that has had this problem, and what happens is when you're playing a D chord or you're playing an open G, occasionally what will happen is the string will slip over the edge of the fret. And so when I took a look at the distance between the first high E slot here, this slot right here where the high E string is sitting, to the edge of the neck should be 4/32 or 1/8 of an inch. And in the case of the TE90, that was not the case. So what I had to do was move the slot over 1/32. And just that little move makes a gigantic difference. And I have the same issue with this HB35. It's not as bad as the TE90, but occasionally, like I said, if you're playing your D chord or you're playing your G, your open G, you're going to find, or at least I found, that the string would slip over the side of the fret. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the string over, and I'm going to use the baking soda and super glue trick to fill in the old slot and put a new slot in. And I'll show you how to do that. So what you'll notice that I did here was I marked off on a piece of tape where the new slot will need to be, just as a guide as I go through this. Okay, so let me prep the guitar a little bit and I'll come back and we'll continue on. Okay, so we're back. I just want to show you this real quick. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you tape off the headstock and the side of the neck on your guitar. You see what I did there? The reason why you want to do that is because you're not going to remove the string. You're going to loosen the high E and you're just going to drop it down. And what you want to make sure is that the string does not cut into the side of the headstock, and that will cut into the finish. And then, that's not going to be a good thing, obviously. All right, so the next step is going to be that I'm going to put a little bit of baking soda in that slot, and you can see that slot is very, very small. So this is not going to take very long to do. And then mix it in with a little bit of super glue, and it's going to harden like a rock. And once it does that, I'll be able to reslot, and we will have fixed the problem with the high E string slipping off the side of the fret. So I'll be right back. Okay, so you can see what I did here as I took some baking soda, put it on the edge of a toothpick, and then just lightly and gently put some on that first slot. Do not put too much on there, because once you put the super glue on there, it's going to harden like a rock. And if you put too much on, you're going to be filing a bit more. So there's no need. Just fill the slot just a little bit. Okay, so the next thing that you need to do is to take your super glue and just put a slight drop on top of that baking soda, which is sitting on top of that slot. Just mix it in a little bit and just wait about 2 or 3 minutes, and you'll be ready to go. So let me do that now, and I'll be right back. So we're just going to take a little bit of crazy glue and just put a little drop on, and I just mixed it in a little bit. Take off any excess, and what's going to happen is it's going to harden, like I said, like a rock. And once it does that, you'll just file it a little bit, smooth it out. You can then start slotting a new slot with your slotting files. So we'll just take a little break here and allow the crazy glue and the baking soda to harden, and then I'll come back and we'll file it down, and then we'll begin the filing. Okay, so we're back, and you can tell that this is hard as a rock now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my file, and I'm not going to show you how to do this. Obviously, you guys know how to file. And smooth it out. And once I'm done filing and smoothing it out, I'll come back and I'll show you what it looks like when it's nice and smooth. And then we will begin creating a new slot. Alrighty, so be back. Okay, so I'm done filing, and what I did was I used my small file here, and then I finished up with some 800 grit to really smooth it out. And let me just get real close here. You can barely see where the old slot was. It was right here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the new slot. And the way you start a new slot is you just do not place your file there. What you want to do is you want to be very precise where it's going to be, and then take a razor knife and score it. Just score the beginning of the slot. This ensures that when you use the file, that the file stays in line and you're not all over the place or wind up chipping away or making the slot larger than it needs to be. Okay, so let me do that now, and I'll be right back. What I did was, let me see if I can get this in focus for you. Here is the original marker that I created as a guide, and then I made a small pencil mark right there. And I'm going to just take that where that mark is, and I'm going to go up with a razor knife using this to start the slot. Okay, now the difference between the old slot and the new slot is 1/32 of an inch, or 2/64. Very slight difference, but it will make a world of difference when you play. All right, so I'm going to score the nut now to start the new slot, but I just wanted to show you how to do this, or at least how I do it. Okay, so be back in a second. Okay, so I took the razor knife. I decided to use this one instead. It was sharper. And then what I did was I traced the actual cut with a pencil so you can see. And this is going to be the beginning of the new slot. Now I'm going to use my slotting file and create the new slot, put the string in, and we'll be done. Okay, so be right back. To do this, make sure you use the right slotting file. And you can see, again, I use Hosco's. The file is two-sided. So the side where you see 0.026, that's this here. So what you want to do is you want to flip it around, and you want 0.010 as the slot width for the high E string on the nut. Okay, so it's very important that you use the proper tools when you do this. It makes the job a lot easier, and it really reduces the probability of making a mistake or making an error. So I'm going to start filing, and I'm going to create a new slot, and when I'm done, I will show you what it looks like. So there's the new slot, and it did not take but maybe 3 or 4 strokes at the file to create it. Now, one of the questions that might come up, and I'm sure that many of you might be asking, is, well, Mike, how do you know how deep to cut the slot? Okay, so to do that, what you need to do is you take your fret guru. I've mentioned this in other videos. And you want to measure the height of your fret. Okay, so just by putting the fret guru down, you can see that the height of this fret, and all the frets on this guitar, is 0.045 inches. That's the height of the fret. Now, what you want on the first 2 strings is you want to have 0.005 clearance above the fret. So if the fret is 0.045 inches and you add 0.005 to the 0.045, you get 0.050. So that is the next notch on the fret guru. So what you do is you put your string back up. Here's the string, putting it back up, putting it in a slot. And it's going to be hard to see this, so you'll just have to take my word for it. Hopefully, by illustrating this, you'll get the idea, and it's not that difficult. It's actually very simple, and it's Very easy with this Fret Guru. So then take your Fret Guru and put it behind the string so you can see it, and then take a look at where the string sits. The string should sit horizontal across the 0.050 inch notch at the very top of that notch. And if you have it there, then you have the proper clearance. Remember, the fret is 0.045 inches. Let's see if I can get better light here for you. You want 0.005 inch clearance. So it should be 0.050 where the string touches, or I should say runs horizontal to the very top of that 0.050 inch notch on the Fret Guru. Now, as a rule of thumb, it's 0.005 inch clearance on the first and second string. It is 0.009 to 0.010 clearance on the the third and the fourth. And on the fifth and sixth string, the A and the E, it is 0.012. All right, so let's just recap. Clearance at the first fret for the first two strings, the E and the B, 0.005. You can even use 0.006 in that range. For the G, the third string, and the fourth string D, 0.009 to 0.010. And then for the A string and the low E, it's 0.012 inches of clearance above the fret. And that's all you have to do. So what that means is when you file, just do a couple of strokes at a time, put the string back in the slot, measure. If it's still too high, take the string, move it to the side, a couple of more strokes at the file, stop, and then measure. And when you get to where you're supposed to be, then you're done. And this is done. Okay? So that's all it took to be able to fix this problem. I hope this video was helpful to you. And as always, I'll leave the comments open. I will be approving them because, as I've mentioned in previous videos, some folks just cannot behave themselves. All right? So thank you guys for watching. And again, any comments, leave them below. Thank you.